Hi. Hey, everybody. It's Delores, the pastor's daughter. Hey, how are you? Okay, look, it's day 4 of the virtual book launch. We're still at it. Like I told you, it's going to be a month-long book launch. Because, I mean, like, why not? We can. Hey, y'all, how are you doing today? Pretty good day. It was housekeeping day, so came over and I did a little bit of stuff. I didn't really do much, not like I normally do, because I wanted to do a couple. I did a thank you video to the Bestsellers Academy, which is who I was working with to reach bestseller status, and um, and then I did a video about wanting to divorce my father. And so that brings me to today's topic, um, talking about divorcing a parent and how it's not that uncommon. And I think that having this conversation and even kind of normalizing like this conversation and this notion, then I think that a lot of relationships will actually be mended. And I know it sounds strange when we're talking about divorcing a parent. That sounds like it's divisive, it's just, causing more strain on relationships, it's giving people an out instead of wanting to work on their issues, all the same stuff that people say in, when they talk about a marriage, but it's even more so now because, most people can't even fathom, cutting off a parent. Well, I just, I posted the video earlier, and hold on, you guys. Let me just make sure I have good sound. Okay. Looks like you can hear me good on YouTube. And if you could, when you come in, just like and share the video at a very minimum, just like the video would be awesome. Um, but yeah, so like and share the video, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, please do that. I have a ton of videos over there. Um, I've been, posting over the past year and some change. So, that'll give you kind of a more, I would say, a more in depth look at where I'm coming from and kind of like the issues that I'm presenting with this topic here. So, during my research, I ran across this article, and you see, I already have it pulled up in the screen share. And it's entitled When Adult Children Divorce Their Parents. Now, I came across this article, and as you see, Very Well Family is where it's posted. And I have a link down in the description box so that, you can get to the article on your own time as well. But I just wanted to just briefly go through this article and just kind of at least just open up a dialogue, and let's talk about this. And I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that this is divisive. Okay? I don't believe that this is um the beginning of a bad thing. You know, I think that when people know that you have options, you know, regardless of if it's, in a romantic relationship or employment situation or in any type of relationship, when people know that you have the option to walk away, that you have the option to, you know, just throw in the towel, and just say, hey, I'm opting out of this. Removing myself from this toxic situation, then people, I believe, are, for one, they um are a little more open to fixing the issues, all right, because they know that there are consequences and, attached to them not doing it, right? And then on another side of things, I think it makes people realize that these relationships they take work, right? And they take respect and they take boundaries and um, they take love and just like it takes a lot to have relationships. I think a lot of times we get, caught in maybe like a state of how relationships were, right? A phase of our relationship. And we're not allowed to kind of move beyond that certain stage. Like, let's say, for instance, in this parent child relationship, um, children are usually in a child's place. But as you become an adult, and you are interacting with your parent, you're really no longer in a child's place. You're an adult. Yes, you are still their child, right? Um, but you're an adult. And I think sometimes relationship can get stuck in that place where you're not allowed to grow and mature and change. And so I just wanted to, like I said, briefly go over this article and at least just let you guys know that it's not really all that far fetched, what I was saying earlier. And I can certainly make the case for divorcing my father, divesting from, opting out, estranged, whatever you want to call it. I choose to say divorce because it's symbolic for me. Because you guys know that I have a history, that I've been married 4 times, and that I have divorced 3 men, and this is symbolic for me because it is a way of breaking pattern. I definitely am not going to continue the pattern in my marriage now. I have a wonderful husband, a thriving, successful, happy relationship, and I definitely don't want to continue any toxic patterns. And so it was very important for me to cut off the toxicity that was going on between me and my father because I have other relationships to consider, not just my relationship with my father. And my relationship with him was infecting every other relationship that I had. It was causing strain in those other relationships. And I just feel like it's for the greater good, even, that I cut contact with my father. In that not only do I just cut contact, but I do something major and symbolic in this way. So here's the picture it comes with, and I can totally relate to this guy's face. Like I can totally relate. Just the oh my god, really, like just like you're just making me tired. Like you're wearing me down with. And then you see the dad, right? And he's just really trying to push his weight. It seems like it's like he's really just trying to insert his will. And then the son here is just like, look, it doesn't matter what you say. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna like that's what this picture is giving me. But let's just go down a little bit and let's just start reading this article here. And it says, papers aren't filed and no judge hears the case, but more and more adult children are divorcing their parents, often completely cutting off contact. Right? Completely cutting contact. In the world of narcissism, they call it going no contact. Right? So no contact. And it's a tactic that a lot of people have to use with narcissistic people. Just completely cut them off. And then it says here, what's driving the increase in parent-child estrangement? Professionals who work with families have some ideas, and thousands of individuals have shared their experiences in surveys. Definitive answers may be elusive, but it's fairly easy to get a feel for some. Okay, so statistics of estrangement here. And it says on the website Estranged Stories. Speaking of which, I tried to go there because I really wanted to see like how much of a community that they had a community and like it was a safe space, what type of stories people were sharing, what type of experiences they had, if they decided to reconnect with their parent or not. I just wanted to know all that stuff. But it was a it was a paid site, so like a paid membership. So I didn't do it. I'm already paying for a lot right now, so that's okay. I got my own estranged stories to tell. So um, I decided not to do that website. So anyway, then it says both parents and adult children can fill out surveys about their estrangement, and that's true. It seems like they had a side of the site that was for the children, and then one that was for parents. Um, in the estranged situation. And it says the results can be surprising. The parents who are estranged are older than one might expect, with over 1/3 falling into the 70 to 80-year-old age group. Y'all, like, can y'all believe that there are people who are cutting off their parents while their parents are in their 70s and 80s? Oh, so that lets you guys know, right? Now, how can you be? You know what? I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go. But it's just like you 70 and 80 years old, and you still just like so stuck in your ways you can't even whatever. Anyway, so then the article goes on to say, when asked to describe the parent-child relationship before the rift, the most popular answer given by the adult children was that they maintained it out of moral obligation. Moral obligation. When I tell you, I feel that so strong, moral obligation. And that's what I was saying. I just have to release myself from that. And then it said the second most popular answer was to describe the relationship as volatile and or not close. And see, when I think of that, I think of either an absent parent or a parent who decided to stick around but was very toxic and violent or abusive, or what I'm saying, just like kind of pushing, provoking, provoking. Hold on, let me just go ahead and do this shameless plug real quick. Hey, there she is. Oh, speaking of which, you guys, I went ahead and got the bestseller seal on there. So I'm gonna have to show you guys that another time. Not today though. Not today. Not today. But anyway, let me keep going. So let's see where we are. Where are we? Okay. When asked whether they bear some responsibility for the estrangement, slightly more than half said yes. Mhm. Okay. Wait. Who were they asking? The parent or the child in this situation? Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Another interesting area concerns whether the children ever told the cutoff parent the reasons for the estrangement. Now, hey, can't nobody, okay, y'all hear me? Can't nobody say that I have not, you know, said the reasons. I have said plenty so far and wrote a whole book. Hold on, another shameless plug. Hey, there she. Okay, let's keep going. Anyway, so where are we? Um, Over 67% said they had. Okay, so they knew, they had been told the reason why. Okay, so this is a reverse mirror image of parents' response in a similar, when over 60% said they had never been told the reasons for the estrangement. I bet they did. They just didn't listen, because we know when they're okay. If you guys read the book, then you see that sometimes you can't even get a word in edgewise. They know why, but they just pretend like they don't. This disparity reflects difficulties that parents sometimes have in communicating with their adult children. Exactly. Just don't listen. Okay. A British survey found that children are usually the ones who cut off contact. When parents were asked about the estrangement, nearly three-quarters said their daughter, which is 74.5%, or son, 73%, had initiated the break. Wow. So it's some daughters, right? It's some daughters out there, okay, that's feeling the exact same way as I am. So this is not as uncommon as it probably seems. And probably even I would think that it probably seems more controversial or whatever in the Black community, because of how we feel about, marriage, divorce, and family and all of that stuff. I would think that it's um, probably a little more controversial within our community. Okay, anyway, so when children were asked about their estrangement from parents, their answers were similar. Among those estranged from mothers, 55% said they had initiated the break, and 10% said their mother cut them off. Okay. Children estranged from their fathers initiated the break 51% of the time and were cut off 14% of the time. Now that's interesting. Well, no, it's really not that interesting now that I think about it. I guess it's probably just more interesting here. But I told y'all, it does seem like I don't know, it just seems like people, like, I mean, like some people have more anger towards their mother, more so than their fathers. But it seems like it's kind of displaced that most of the time, I would think most of the time, okay, this is just my assessment, but I would think most of the time that the issues that people have with their mothers, why they become estranged, has a lot to do with the fathers. Okay, that's what I think. That's what I think. And I think that a lot of children hold their mothers responsible for the father's behavior as well. And so that factors into, I think it factors into this number here. That's what I think. But we'll see over time. Maybe we can pull some stats or whatever, and actually, or to actually talk to people who have, and kind of get down to the bottom of that. But that's just my assessment for now. But anyway, so now the article gets down into the reasons for estrangement. Now, this is the good stuff right here, right? This shows you like a lot of the issues that people are having, and why they feel like it's necessary to divorce a parent. Okay, so here it says reasons for conflicts between parents and adult children vary. Some adult children have several relationships with parents due to traumatic childhoods. Okay, so y'all see that in my situation, right? They were abused or grew up with parents whose drug or alcohol addictions interfere with their parenting. Okay, and I think that you guys will see that um, when you read the book. Occasionally, family disputes have erupted over money. Okay, and then you'll see that in the book too. Jesus. Okay. In the majority of cases, however, the reasons for estrangement are not so clear cut. Still, certain themes occur over and over in commentary from adult children who have divorced their parents. And here are those common themes, right? You weren't a good parent. Some children feel that they weren't loved or nurtured sufficiently. Sometimes that is because they were reared in a time or culture that didn't value open expressions of love. Okay. Sometimes it is because their parents truly had a hard time expressing their feelings. Okay. Occasionally, adult children still feel hurt from episodes that occurred years ago, episodes that the parents may not even be aware of. Okay. Which is, all of that, you can totally see how all of that is a factor. You still see me as a child and children years in a specific relationship with parents in charge. Parents sometimes have difficulty giving up that structure. adult children say that their parents adults, they are sometimes, many times, parents persist in giving unwanted advice. Um, then voicing disapproval of a child's spouse, finances, job, or lifestyle can definitely cause conflict. And you have that, a lot of the times where parents are um, very critical. They give unwanted advice, and it's like they push it on you, and then God forbid you do something different and it doesn't turn out like you want it to. Then it's kind of like the "I told you so," and you know you should always listen to me. And when you guys read the book, you'll see that, I mean, my father and I had all of these issues. We had all of these issues. And then it says, the next one is, we don't have the same values. When children make choices that aren't consistent with their parents' values, the parents sometimes say, "We didn't raise you that way." They have trouble acknowledging that grown children are responsible for developing their own moral compasses. Trouble can also arise when an adult child marries someone who differs in important ways from their family of birth. Now, we see this a lot in interracial relationships, relationships where people have different religions or different beliefs and stuff like that. And then, we'll have like the family who, or the parents who do not agree, and, cause a lot of issues in that way. Sometimes the difficulty springs from differences in political leanings or religious beliefs, just as I said. These issues present especially difficult challenges because such beliefs tend to be closely held. Some families learn to live with differences, others never do. And see, that's the thing. Like, people really don't let go of what they are accustomed to believing, which really is a lot of the issues that we have, even when, we're talking about divorcing a parent. You know, some of these beliefs that we have are so closely held that we're not willing to, you know, um, be open to anything else. You're not open to this idea of divorcing a parent because it's just like, no, we don't do that. I've never heard of that. We don't believe in that for whatever reason, and whatever. But you see how that can cause a major conflict in a relationship, having um completely different beliefs and moral standings. Okay, you're a toxic person is the next reason. Exactly what is meant by a toxic person depends on the speaker. Generally, it's understood to mean a person who is harmful to another's emotional equilibrium. I like that. I think I'm right there. You're harmful to my emotional equilibrium. I got a new one, y'all. Emotional equilibrium. Think I won't use this. Okay? I will. You are harmful to my emotional equilibrium. Okay, I'm totally using that. Okay, let's continue. Those who are overwhelmingly negative, blame others, are excessively needy, or are casually cruel sometimes are called toxic. I could totally add to that list. Ooh, honey. Other labels that are often used to justify in a relationship are narcissistic and bipolar. Mhm. Both of these refer to genuine psychological disorders, but the labels are often casually applied without any professional diagnosis. Hmm. We really do kind of overuse the word narcissism, and calling people narcissistic. But the reason is because everybody's narcissistic. It's levels to it, and that's what it has to be highlighted. Everybody has narcissistic tendencies, but not everybody, excuse me, reaches this level of toxicity to where um, people want to cut off all communication and all contact with them. Okay, there's levels to it, and sometimes it's like some narcissistic person actually do like them because of that, because of their way, their way of being. But you just know there's only a limited amount of time to actually be alright. It gets on your nerves. It starts to vex you. It starts to anger you, or something, or an argument ends up happening, a clash or whatever. You know those types of people. And sometimes they're really fun to be around, but only for a short amount of time or only on certain occasions, right? But then there are people who it's like, okay, yeah, I can't even be around you at all. I can't. And that's what we're talking about, here. Okay, and it says, does divorce contribute to estrangement? Okay. Many parents blame their own divorce for their estrangement from adult children. And I could totally see that. Though my parents are not divorced, they are estranged, they are separated. And I definitely took a side. I mean, clearly I took a side. Um, And so, I would say that yes, like I think it definitely does impact. And then we see how, like, in some situations, adult children are upset with that one parent. Maybe there was a lot of infidelity, a lot of mistreatment, or a lot of those things going on. And once that relationship is severed, then the child is able to actually cut off that parent, cut off the toxic parent. Sometimes it's really not that easy to do when your parents are still together. Okay. And that was a lot of, that was a situation with my parents. Um, Even though I had cut off my father, um, and I still had a relationship with my mother, I had to prepare myself to also cut my mother off because I knew that her connection to him would always be um, a strain with the two of us, that it would always cause a strain between the two of us, because that's how he is. That's how, the atmosphere and the dynamic that he created. um so I would definitely say, and it just, even though, like, I cut him off, I have, another sibling that didn't cut my father off until my mother left, which is when he felt safe and to do that, you know but we'll get into that story another time. Among those estranged from daughters, 50% said a divorce was a very relevant factor, compared to 37% of parents estranged from sons. So more so in the daughters, in the situation where daughters were estranged, um, it was the divorce that caused that estrangement to happen. Okay, so here it says some believe their children blame them for not trying harder to keep the family together. Others feel that their ex partner pitted their children against them through persuasion and manipulation. Now, we saw that yesterday. Remember when I posted that text from my father, and he said that he's not trying to find my mother and he's not trying to use me to get to her, which, of course, was the very opposite of what he said, that he was in fact trying to use me to get to her, and he was trying to find her. um so that hits home for me. Actually, this whole article does. But anyway, so however, multiple studies suggest that most adult children don't see divorce as a major factor in their estrangement. Instead, the younger generation typically attributes the separation due to the parents' own behaviors, such as neglect or criticism. Right? This younger generation attributes separation due to the parents' own behaviors. And that's where we are. Every family has its own unique circumstances. In some cases, it is possible that children were manipulated into seeing the estranged parents' behavior as problematic. hmm That definitely was not the case. My mother never said anything bad about my father, but he disparaged her a lot, actually. In other cases, the estranged parents may have coped poorly with divorce and blame third party interference rather than their own actions. Mm, okay. Divorce is the parent child relationship depends on the individuals involved. Okay. So it may be some of you who kind of experienced this one where it was divorce that kind of attributed to the estrangement in your situation. And then it says the possibility of reconciliation. Overwhelmingly, adult children who have divorced their parents say that they did it for the good of their families or for their own good. That's me all the way, y'all. When asked whether the parents should try for reconciliation, answers vary. Some consider any attempt at communication as harassment. That's me all the way, y'all. That is me all the way. Like, don't leave me alone or you harassing me, like, period. Because, I mean, really, once you have told a person to leave you alone and they continue, that is harassment. Um, So, in the Estranged Stories survey, however, around 60% of adult children said that they would have, they would like to have a relationship with the person from whom they are estranged. 60% would like a relationship. The steps cited most often that could affect the reconciliation were apologies from parents, parents taking responsibility, and boundary setting. Now, the all three of these have been non-existent, and you guys can see how I have been speaking out over the last year, plus everything that I've done over the last 40 years of of trying to reconcile really the issues that existed between us. But um even if my father, let's just say he did, right? Let's say that he actually um, apologized, right? Took responsibility, and we were able to set boundaries. Let's just say that that was the case. The fact that my father continues to do things, like he continues to, well, we'll get into what he continues to do, but the fact that he continues to do things makes all of this kind of like null and void. It's like you like, how do you apologize, how do you ask for forgiveness for something and you're actively still doing those things, or you have not changed. It just is like, yeah, it just doesn't work out. And then it says in the British study Hidden Voices, adult children were much more likely than the parents to have the excuse me, for parents to say that the situation was hopeless. Let me read that again. In the British study Hidden Voices, adult children were much more likely than the parents to say that the situation was hopeless, with no chance of reconciliation. In fact, over 70% agreed or strongly agreed with the notion that having a functional relationship with their mother or father in the future was not a possibility. Mm, not a possibility. Wow. Still, parents in this situation should not give up hope. Young people have been known to change their minds as they get older and gain life experience. And parents can draw encouragement from the knowledge that even if they have been divorced, the decree is not final. Yeah, well, don't think that in this situation. Thing is final. But anyway, so what estrangement means for grandparents. Parents who were cut off from their adult children were often grandparents cut off from their grandchildren as well. In trying to reconcile, grandparents sometimes plead that grandchildren need grandparents, which is true. Grandparents can fill very important functions for grandchildren. However, the focus in these situations should be on nurturing the parent's relationship with the adult child. Once that relationship is repaired, grandparents should be able to children again. That's the article, y'all. I was just saying it's not that uncommon. And the fact that it's not that uncommon is a problem in and of itself, but it's something that, should open up a dialogue. Because if people have been reaching the point where it's like, okay, I want to divorce my parent, then that means that there has been a major breakdown for years, decades, for a very long time. And that means that these issues have gone unchecked, unresolved, unreconciled, like unforgiven. And it's just, how are we okay with this? And although I don't necessarily feel that there is hope in my particular relationship with my father, I still recognize that there's hope for other people, and that my story can be a powerful motivation to change and to kind of take a deeper look into these relationships and and decide what's important to us. It may not be important to the estranged parent, the divorced parent, to have a relationship. Maybe it doesn't matter to them. But that's not everybody's case. Some people it does matter, but they just don't have the knowledge, the understanding, or have seen other cases where this is something that is an issue, but it can be resolved. And so sometimes they don't realize that there's hope out there. And I think that there is hope for some. Not all, but there's hope for some. And and I hope that this helps them. So anyways, you guys know that the digital book is out, and that the paperback will be out in about a month. So the process is that Amazon sends me a print copy of the book, and I do a review, like quality check it and make sure everything looks good. And then once that happens, then it goes into print, is what I believe the process is. So they haven't sent me my copy yet to be QC'd. And so I have to wait on that, and then I'll be able to get it out to you guys. But anyway, so I'm excited about that. And then I told you guys that I got the bestseller seal. I went ahead and got that on there because, like, why are we wasting time? Because we earned it so quick. So we earned it. Let's go ahead and put it on the book, honey. But I'll show y'all that tomorrow or another day. I want to send it out. I kind of want to send it out to my mailing list first, because they're the reason why the book made the bestseller status, because they were out there on the job. So I want to make sure I thank them first, and then I'll put it out to the masses and show you guys the new book cover with the bestseller crest added to it. So anyway, I love y'all. And you are important to me. I need you to survive. I love y'all. Bye-bye for now.
The commandment of the Lord, we will see him after a while. I love you. Bye-bye for now.